नासिक बहुत खास शहर है और इसे खास बनाता है नासिक का कल्चर, स्पिरिचुअलिटी और ट्रेडिशन। नासिक में गोदावरी नदी बहती है और यहीं लाखों करोड़ों लोग आते हैं महाकुंभ का हिस्सा बनने के लिए। नासिक में इसी बीच एक नई कहानी लिखी जा रही है वुमेन ऑफ नासिक की। नासिक की वुमेन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में लीडरशिप कर रही है, बिजनेस बिल्ड कर रही है, हेल्थ केयर में बहुत लोगों की जिंदगी बदल रही है। कम्युनिटीज को इंस्पायर कर रही है। ये सारी वुमेन है तो अलग प्रोफेशन से, इनकी जर्नी भी अलग रही है, लेकिन इन सब में एक कॉमन कनेक्शन है, नासिक। जहां नासिक एक नए अपकमिंग इवेंट महाकुंभ की तैयारी में लगा हुआ है। मैंने इन सबको इनवाइट किया है एक ऐसे राउंड टेबल कॉन्वर्सेशन के लिए जहां हम डिस्कस करेंगे नासिक की ग्रोथ और महाकुंभ में, जहां हजारों लाखों निगाहें होंगी नासिक पर। तो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होगा। Hello everyone, I am Prabjot Kaur, founder of Media Shark and host for the PK Talk Show. We are going to host the first ever Nasik's Roundtable podcast with the powerful women of Nasik. Let's go. Hello ladies, welcome to Nasik's first ever Roundtable podcast, and I'm excited to have you all, and thank you all for coming on such a short notice. So before we begin, I would request you all to please give a short intro. So let's start with Gauri Patil.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Gauri Patil from Orinda Integrative Medicine. So basically I help people overcome their anxiety, burnout and mental health as well as physical health ailments through integrative approaches wherein I combine behavioral therapies, medications, exercise science, nutrition and resting techniques. Nasik is a home for me, and I don't see myself practice anywhere else but in Nasik because it's just such a beautiful and a wholesome space to be in, where spirituality meets the new age, the new age things that we are, modern technology that we're looking forward to, and I think it's a perfect blend of everything, best of all worlds.
Hi everyone, this is Manisha Khatri. I am Nashik Municipal Commissioner. I look after the works regarding the infrastructure development that happens in the city, the overall health, sanitation facilities, education facilities, basically everything under the umbrella that comes, that has to happen for a city is done by the corporation, and that is what I do. And Nashik, of course, is my Karm Bhumi, it's my Dharm Bhumi, and this is my newly found home, which I really like and love, living here. My family is very happy here, so I think it does bring a lot of happiness and cheerfulness in and around, for the people who live here. So looking forward to interacting with you all today.
Hi everyone, this is Gauri Thakkar here, and I'm the founder of the Vanity Affair, co-founder of House of Miracles, and part of my family business in the name of Thakkar Developers Limited. So there's a varied portfolio that I look after. Again, Nasik is very special to me. It is my Karma Bhumi. I was born here, married here, and obviously look forward to be a part of this city's growth and look forward to also contribute towards its growth. Being a woman, I feel there's a lot that we can do towards this city, which is in its growing sphere. So yes, I'm very fond of this place, and it's a beautiful place. That's about it, I think.
Hi, I'm Gauri. I'm a sustainable hotelier of Grape County Eco Resort. And Nasik for me is a city of wine and divine. And again, it's my birthplace. And right now I'm living in my Swadesh era is what I think, because I've studied in multiple cities, worked in multiple cities, but I'm back here, and it's been more than a decade that I'm back here. I'm settled, and now I want to give my contribution back to the city, and contribute, just a humble attempt to contribute towards its development. And I want to preserve the sanctity of this city, and I also wanted to develop the city in a very sustainable way. So that's my vision for my city.
Hi everybody, I'm Richa Apurva Darade. So I'm a designated partner in Infinity Enterprises, wherein we've got into retail stores of Tanishq Jewelry, Tanera Saris, Mia by Tanishq, Titan Eye Plus, World of Titan. So associated with the Tatas since 6 to 7 years now. Nasik has welcomed us with warmly, actually I can say. We shifted 4 years back for our business, and I think we're not going back again. So I love the city. Plus Nasik, I feel it is deeply rooted with the culture, but is equally evolving. So it's a very progressive city as far as I have come in contact with a lot of people. So yeah, looking forward to this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nilambari Desle Pawar. I am an IVF specialist, and I am a daughter and a daughter-in-law of Nasik. Nasik is an emotion for me. Nasik is my hometown. After being to many cities and coming back to Nasik, now it's the time for me to give back to Nasik. Where healthcare is concerned, or whatever I do, I'm trying to give my best to align my profession as well as some social contribution that I can do to this city, because yes, Nasik is my happy space and it is very close to me.
Thank you so much. So each one of you come from different field. What does being a woman of Nasik mean to you today? So Gauri, will start with you.
As I said, because I'm born here, I have this connect with the roots. And once you live in different cities, I think you realize how invisible and how lonely it can get to live in a city that you have no roots that belong to you. So that is exactly how I felt. But after coming back to Nasik, I can see the kind of progress that it's making, how it's become a hotspot for all of these metro cities. Now everybody wants to shift back to Nasik, given the lower AQIs and like the good living conditions here. So I'm actually in a place of pride now that I belong to this city, because when you come from a small city, you try to hide behind these tags of being associated with bigger cities. No, I've studied in Mumbai and I've studied in Pune, but now I think we can carry this tag of being from a small town with pride, because the kind of opportunities that have opened up to these cities. So
I would just like to say that we have that thing, Nasik being a small city, but I would just like to mention that Nasik no longer is typecast it as a small city, because so many things are evolving. And looking at from my point of view, like if I talk about healthcare, women who were not so open about issues, now they are coming up and talking about their issues. They want to know about their reproductive lifestyle, they want to know about their fertility timelines. So I feel that Nasik is not like now
It is evolving.
it's
It
evolving.
is evolving. So ma'am, जैसे आप नासिक में आए हो,
Yeah, so just wanting to mention that because they are from Nashik, so they are coming back to Nashik, and for people who are not from Nashik, still they're wanting to come to Nashik. So I think it's about the quality of life that Nashik has to offer, the warm friendships that people like the warm relations that you can have here. Of course, also because not that the city is too big, not that it is too small. It's a perfect size, perfect combination of everything. That's what I think is bringing everyone to Nashik.
right? और आपको क्या लगता है? How are the women of Nasik?
Women, I think I found very strong women. Most of them are here. Many of them are also not here. So again, it's a very good and a progressive city, as we see. I think from safety perspective also for women, it's quite good by the standards from where I come from. So yes, I think there should not be anything for a woman, that she won't be able to do in Nashik that she can do anywhere else. So there's nothing, no pulling back here. So it's I think.
Secondly, I would just like to see women of Nasik has a very good blend. Many of them are my friends. So I have seen Gauri ma'am also. When it is festivities, traditions, she loves doing that. She enjoys all that. and when it comes to doing her business or entrepreneurship, she's a go-getter in that as well. So I think the women have a very good blend of these two.
And they're quite good at balancing both of the tradition as well as taking forward
I think
the
for all the
culture of
women,
the
I think all
careers
this
also.
comes very naturally.
Yes.
Balancing everything.
Can I take a little bit forward from that, because I second that, that usually it is very easier for us to kind of blend in both the areas, but I would say that because we have our families also rooted here, I think that makes a huge difference. Because staying outside, I know, like the struggles that you go through, it becomes quite difficult to just know that you are on your own, there's nobody to fall back on. But here we have our families, like your parents, your in-laws, like most of us are born and brought up in Nasik. So I think that really makes a huge difference. And again, I second that about the safety concerns as well. Like whenever I'm late or anything, like not just now, but since I was in my college and school times, I never ever had to worry about anything. It was just so easy, and it was just, everything was just very easy to glide through.
Just adding to what Gauri said, so if we're speaking about women of Nasik, 50% of my staff is all our ladies. Sales staff.
Right.
So no festivals for them since we are into this field. So be it Dasara, Diwali, they're so compassionate, so passionate about the sales day. So they're there. We are on till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. on Diwali, Dasara, but they are happily there. So that is what I think Nasik has progressively got out. Women are coming out, plus they have a strong support system who is also being supportive. So it's not just the women there, but the families also have progressively, I think, evolved. And that's actually a very good sign for the city to grow.
Now that we are talking about the progress of Nasik, previous generation did not have so many opportunities, right? So what do you think about the opportunities that have come up in Nasik city?
I feel, because I've studied here, I've seen the major shift from non-working women to working, and it's not only about working. I've seen non-working women support these working women. So be it mothers, I mean, they naturally support you, but the mother-in-laws also. That whole shift of the mindset, the shuffle that calls for, that identity crisis issue hota tha pehle. Now I feel that's very much in place. People know that she's going to work and they're okay with it. And that is what we've seen in Nasik past 20-25 years. I feel it has been really great for Nasik's improvement in all aspects. Like we've seen, so all of us are working here. But I feel I know all of them. They've been mothers also. So I've seen them being at home also and being out also.
So the opportunities that have come up.
Yes,
for,
so the
in
opportunity
Nasik for the coming generation.
The coming generation. So I am from the retail field.
Yes.
So initially we took over Tanishq.
Right.
Slowly we came up with Mia by Tanishq. Slowly we came up with Taneira. So of course opportunities for us also have opened slowly, because we have got that kind of a positive response from the people here. So people in Nasik actually are very well versed with, so nowadays they're very well versed and they trust authenticity. So they know, they're well learned, so they trust authenticity. So I think it's a good opportunity for young people also, since we have Kumbh coming to Nasik now.
Yes.
It is a huge opportunity for all the entrepreneurs.
Right.
Because it is going to be for like hospitality, everything, like the service industry is going to be on boom, because globally people are going to travel, come down. Maybe we'll have 5 to 10 crore people traveling to Nasik over that period of time.
Right.
So it is going to be huge.
So now that we are talking about the retail, right, there are so many brands that have come up in Nasik, which I think it was not there only. In last 5 years, we had seen Nasik growing like rapidly. So what do you think, how is the, mentality or maybe the buying persona of women or men has changed or evolved in the city?
Surprisingly, so earlier it used to be that only women come down to a sari store,
Right.
they come down to a jewelry store. Surprisingly, we have like a husband coming down with a wife, choosing the saris sitting there patiently, and I was surprised to see that okay, that's a progressive thing to happen in tier 2 cities. Plus retail sector, when you say, like I said, people are very well versed. They have knowledge about everything, about, just for example, real diamonds, lab grown diamonds. They know everything, so they very well versed, so it's very easy for them to trust authenticity also.
Right. So you come from hospitality. So you have also seen, there are so many new hoteliers, coming up, new hotels coming up, new hospitality chains coming in Nasik. So what do you feel? How are we accepting? How Nasikites are accepting this change? Because Nasik has always been a green city, and now there's so much of development happening all around. So what do you feel?
I never see development as something that is in the sphere of competition. I think because these hotels are coming, that is why the rest of the hotels are also going to do well. So it is like a community that thrives together. A standalone hotel is never going to really flourish. So I see this development as something that actually benefits us all, and it's actually a good thing. It keeps the city buzzing, and I think people are now out to experiment. Also, the kind of change that I've seen is people no longer want to go to these matchbox hotels. They want to have different experiences. They want to communicate and interact with the local communities. They want to see what the city is all about and what the city has to offer. So in that sphere, I think it's a very good change.
Ma'am, administration, अभी आप leading woman हो नासिक की, who's into administration. What type of development do you see, like in terms of hospitality or maybe retail? कि आप जब देखते हो तो what do you think about this?
See, for a city to grow in any sector, be it hospitality, retail, entrepreneurship, anything, what it needs is basic infrastructure. You should have 24/7. You should have basically water, good clean drinking water, availability of it around the year, good roads, better connectivity, mobility wise, we should be better, clean river, clean recreational spaces, green recreational spaces. So that is something we're already looking at, even for the works that we are doing for now, before the upcoming Kumbh Mela and beyond that. So the aim is not just one event, it's definitely much more beyond that, and how much Nashik can benefit from that. So I think given everything that is in pipeline for Nashik, it's going to grow huge in everything.
Now talking about Kumbh, no, we have just started the discussion only. So what is the planning like? What are we planning to do this year? Because there's a lot of expectations after the one that has happened in Pargira, right?
I think so. First of all, everyone knows. Yeah. So there's a lot
On
of pressure
horse
also with that. Now that you come to yesterday only, I had a big general body meeting. So somebody just mentioned, यहाँ खुदा है, वहाँ खुदा है, जहाँ देखो वहाँ खुदा है, और जहाँ नहीं खुदा है, वहाँ कल देखोगे तो वहाँ भी खुदा है. So that's the scale of work that is going on. That everywhere works have started. So it's going to be huge, major infrastructure push. I think that happens every 12 years for Nashik. I think which is a very fortunate thing for a city. So Nashikers, I would say, are very lucky. There is some inconvenience that is going to happen for next 6 months. If they bear with it, the fruits are going to be extremely good. And for the works, as I said, it's all about all infrastructure spaces, and even for the skill training and local employment opportunities that will come to people. So that's going to be huge. The way the local economy for Prayagraj boomed up immediately, during and after Kumbh. So that will be an opportunity for hospitality sector, for retail sector, service sector, for transport sector, for mobility sector, for everything. Anything that you see under the sun, it is going to improve it. It's going to put Nashik on the world map, I would say.
So you come from real estate background also, right? So in 15 years, 10 years, we had seen Nasik grooming. What do you think? Kumbh is coming close by. What is the best opportunity for people to, buy real estate or maybe invest into real estate of Nasik? What do you think from that?
So let's not take just Kumbh, but otherwise also because of Kumbh, Nasik is being highlighted, and as she said, on a global level. So yes, we see a lot of opportunities coming, wherein we'll see a lot of investment coming to Nasik, because again, Nasik being known for its a very good AQI, or the green thing that we promote Nasik for. A lot of people are looking forward to at least have a second home, a farmhouse or something or the other in Nasik, that probably they can just come down and be at from their mainstream cities. So I feel yes, real estate has a great kind of growth what they are anticipating. Yes, there is a lot of hold for it.
No, just adding up to that, before coming here, I was just reading about Nasik now, that we have to talk about it. And I started reading about these ancient times, like people have been loving the city since the ancient times. Like if we start with Lord Rama, he was here for 14 years and he loved being here according to the scriptures. The Britishers really like Nasik, which is why we have the military camp here. And so the Parsis really liked Nasik, which is why the whole development happened. And the Marwadis came and Gujaratis came. So while I was reading about it, that the whole the one fabric that was really common is that because of the city's flora and fauna and the pure air and everything, the biodiversity around it. So it has always been a real estate hotspot right from the ancient times.
Okay, so Nilambari, now that we are talking about Kumbh, millions of people are going to come here, all the eyes are here. From the healthcare perspective, per se, what do you think, what should be done so that, people also take that initiatives and maintain that cautiousness when it comes to health and, hygiene and all of that?
See, what I feel is like this, we are post-COVID era. We all know how infection spreads so rapidly. So first and foremost, you need to have basic civic sense for everyone. See, Manisha madam is going to do her bit. The infrastructure is going to be good. Everything is going to be at place. But people have to be educated. Hygiene, sanitization. Secondly, what we as healthcare need is, these small camps are needed. Doctors have to be accessible. There have to be emergency ambulances everywhere. Secondly, waste disposal has to be there. Good food, clean water is very important. Secondly, like I said, maybe masks and sanitization is going to improve, has to be there, because anything which is going to be crowded is going to be infectious, and infection is going to spread rapidly. So this is what I feel, that infection is something that we need to think about.
And how do you think, Gauri, mentally everybody has to be prepared for so many gatherings? It is going to be a massive gathering in Nasik, right? There is going to be a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming in. You as an individual, I guess, मेरे को भी शायद बाहर जाने में लगेगा कि it is taking long. So how mentally we all need to be prepared for?
So mentally, I think having really realistic expectations is the key, because no matter how much a city also works it, as ma'am said, that basic civic sense everybody has to carry, because eventually that's going to really help you in the way you're conducting yourself and the way you're also behaving with people around you. Usually what happens is at these akhadas or these camps, in the past we've seen stampede. In the past we've seen a lot of things which have happened in spite of the systems being in place. At some places they were not in place, but as an individual, when a person thinks about coming to a different place, they have to be very mindful about how they're going to conduct and what are the expectations they have from that particular place. Again, with regards to spirituality, I think our Indian system is quite like for all these Ayurveda and everything. It is quite for the mental and physical health. So they also talk about a lot about holistic health. So there's not much, because every household really understands. One important thing is just people should pay attention to their own immunities as well. It's whether you're going for a gathering or whether you're not. If you are well versed with your basics in life, I think that's really, it sorts you.
Right. So where do you think Nasik in another 15 years? What kind of a city do you think Nasik is going to be in another 15 years?
I think we are all speechless about that, because we can't even imagine where Nashik would be. It's going to really, shoot off it's already on a great footing, and it's just going to go up and up. So
I feel it should be, or it will be, the most looked out city. Yeah, absolutely. Look.
So,
Yeah, we won't
so
be
I think Nasik will be known for its good
Very looked
lifestyle.
Yes.
Get it.
Yes. It will be.
And maybe Nasik will be known for its good lifestyle. I think 15 years. So I don't think so we can compare it to any metro city, because currently also Nasik is booming. But what lifestyle we have over here, I think it's going to improve only.
Yeah, like
I don't think so it's going to
They
degrade.
literally want to leave Mumbai and come and settle down in Nasik. That is what they expect.
But we don't want that. We don't really want that.
Not so much.
Yeah, not so much. we don't want to, you know, to preserve this.
In Nasik 10 years before,
Yeah.
and now what Nasik is. So we don't want that peacefulness which Nasik
Yeah.
has. We don't want
Absolutely.
that to get disturbed. That's all about it. We are not against civilization
but,
or
but the
development.
good thing, see, but the good thing about Nashik is that it spreads out, you know, in a round. It's a round city, so it'll always be much better planned than any other, you know, nearby, you know.
And I think geographically also we're located
Yeah.
like close to Mumbai,
Yeah,
Pune,
yeah.
Surat, and you know, like that access that we have, I think 250, 300 kilometers say sabhi all metro cities are connected.
It's not very hard to decongest Nashik.
And I believe it's a huge opportunity for Nasik as well, and the people of Nasik to also push in for things like infrastructure when it comes to basic things like having a good, footpath and all these things. Because now it's possible for the people of Nasik
Yeah.
to say, but once it's a completely developed space, it becomes difficult, and then you have to again reconstruct everything. So I think this is a huge opportunity for Nasik people also to push the right things forward of what they really want for their city to be. And as she said, that we need to maintain that peaceful environment as well, because that's something which really pulls everybody towards Nasik.
So, Gauri, you also come from hospitality background. So, what do you think? How visitors see Nasik? You know, when they look at Nasik, what is in their mind? What do they think about Nasik? Whenever they are coming here from hospitality point of view, or it can be both of you can answer this, or maybe it's open question for all. So, what do you think? How visitors look at Nasik?
So I feel again Nasik is a perfect blend of culture also, and because of again, you know, the wine culture, looking at the divine that we are blessed with, you know, so every visitor has his own look out for it, but we stand out in both of it, I feel. And again, as a visitor, I feel I meet a lot of random people also, and they're like, Nasik is so beautiful, it's so nice. Again, the thought of having that serene thing. The city passes that kind of a vibe, and I feel because we are more into on a pilgrimage side or something, the vibes are very strongly passed. Even if no one wants to register, that person does, register that yes, it is a very peaceful, it is a very green city, it's a very nice place. So anyone who comes in and around will look at it like that, and that's what I've experienced after meeting a lot of people.
And how about you? What is
Yeah,
your experience?
I would like to pick up on what she said about vibrations. So this is something that we also really, so a lot of people tell us that there's something different in the air and we can sense it. And, you know, Manisha ma'am and I, we've had a discussion about this millions of times, and we've tried to pin it down to certain things. So Nasik used to be a tapa place where people used to come, and you know what is tap? Tap is mantras.
Meditate.
Yeah. So what is mantra? Mantra is energy. And energy, as you know, it cannot be destroyed, and it cannot be, you know, like it just I think
infinite.
changes its form, and it's infinite. So this energy is something that people pick on, and this is what they call as vibration. So it is so intangible that you can't really make sense of it. But you know, when you do these things, when you go to, you know, Trimbakeshwar, or you go into the mountains, you feel something inside, and you can't really pinpoint. But yeah, but this is what people have done for ages together. They've, you know, meditated, they've recited
So the
those
nature
mantras.
around Nashik is something, you know, that has given, I think, that gives this energy to the city. That is,
Yeah.
And one more thing, you know, we are proud Nasikites because we can host Kumbh and we can host Sula Fest as well. So everybody is welcome to Nasik. All the group, I mean, all the age groups.
Everybody will be entertained.
So now, like she just said, you know, we do Sula Fest, which is globally known. You know, there are so many wine. We are the wine, you know, wine capital. It's globally known like that. Even Kumbh is globally known. What kind of pressure do you feel right now that it's so close? It's just an upcoming next event.
You are putting pressure on me right now by asking. I am very chill. I am very relaxed. I don't take pressure, I give pressure.
Yeah, she's relaxed.
But yeah, of course, you know, you have to meet deadlines, timelines, a lot of people's expectations. More than that, it's about the timeline, you know, that people are facing a lot of inconvenience right now. So that is something we want to really, the timeline for that should be as short as possible. Yeah, we will be ready by the time when it happens.
We are still into, you know, developing patience. Nasikites didn't have patience. See, traffic was something.
Yeah.
Commuting was like 10 minutes,
yeah.
5
It was
minutes,
never-
but
it
it's
was
become
never a
so
part of
foreign to
Nasik.
us that, you know, it takes half an hour. So, you know, we are developing patience now.
So just one example, of after interacting with people, they had just very basic concern ki just last year the road in front of my house was constructed, you are digging it again. And then you dig it like you had dug it last month, now you're digging it still again. So we kind of worked on that, and we made sure that whatever roads we are making new this time, 28 roads that we are doing in the city, all major roads. So first everything that needs to be dug and put inside is being put inside, and then we are making the road, so that for next 15 to 20 years at least these roads will not be dug. Matlab that is something that everyone can rest assured. So that I think would be a big, because it's not easy. 7 contractors working on one piece of land at one time. It's a headache for me. But I think that is a must also. Given the money we are spending, we must also try to save as much as we can.
Absolutely, absolutely. So everybody here sitting is a mother, right? So balancing, again, you would have heard this question a lot of times, so we'll just keep it, aside. But how did motherhood influence you while taking these leaderships or make any decision on, you all are leaders in your own professions. So have this helped you in your making decisions at times? Like, have you become more calmer, if whatever your answers can.
I think
What I feel is, see, like I said before also, that I don't know why, because me being a doctor, this question comes up to me quite often, that how do you balance, but it comes naturally to many women that I know. Everybody is doing good in their fields across, whatever fields they choose, they are balancing, they are doing their roles beautifully, managing households, families, your own personal self. So I feel not just the profession, but every woman, it comes naturally to her.
I think it also motherhood makes you get a lot more clarity in your decisions, in your priorities. You are very clear what time you want to do what. So I think that is something, and you should. This one dialogue, like this mantra was given to me by my child's pediatrician, my first kid's pediatrician. He was like, "What do you do?" I told him, I'm like, I work at this and that and all. She's like, fine, but let's just remember one thing: never feel guilty for being a mother, being a working mother, and never let anyone else make you feel guilty for being a working mother. That is most important. So sometimes, even if there's a slight hint of somebody from family also saying like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to say that also. So it's my wish. The way I want to raise my kids is like, I think that kind of confidence does.
No, I think I've made peace with the fact that balance is a myth. Like, it does not exist and it cannot exist. There are times when your work takes over, and there are times when your kids take over. Exactly. So this balance, though, I've given it up. कि ऐसा कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. Like, there are times when you show up for your kids. If they're unwell, you leave everything aside. But if they are okay and your work takes priority, then you will move mountains to make that work as well. So I think that, and I think kids also, they bring in a better version of you outside, because they that they are looking at you.
I think a responsible version. I think they get out a lot of patience from us. I think we become more patient when we are a mother, and we're more empathetic towards others also, because kids are so innocent, so that automatically we have that empathy. We have the empathy for others also.
Right.
And also, I think we don't need to like I say, I don't know what to glorify being a mother. It's every other woman on this earth is doing that. Yeah. And everybody sitting here comes from a place of privilege. So we have enough resources at our disposal to make sure that everything works out. So I think these days you have a label for everything, right? And that's what overcomplicates things, is what I believe.
But Gauri, I'm sure you would have a lot of patience, mothers especially, it's too overwhelming for them to manage all of this. So how do you help them understand that, what path to choose, how to be patient, or how to lead in their own profession?
So I do have a lot of mothers who are my patients, and the only thing which I keep telling them is, do not feel guilty for what you're doing, because at the end of the day you have to look at the bigger picture. At the same time, you cannot even just keep running behind your work and not have boundaries, because a lot of them are working under somebody, they're working in some hospitals, they're working under somewhere where they have to meet those deadlines. So they have to also learn to maintain these boundaries, wherein the way they cut off from their motherhood once they are at work, the same way they have to go back and not take their work home. So boundary creation is a major one. Again, for them, getting that personal time is a huge problem. So with me, it is a task to make them feel that, you know, taking out time for yourself is not something you have to be worried about. And this also comes from a space of conditioning, because a lot of times their in-laws, their family settings, they are not there to question them that why are you doing this, but it's their own conditioning which makes them feel that, oh, whether I should go, whether I should do this, whether I should do that, I'm taking out time for myself, I'm not giving time to my family, wherein they, most of the times, these expectations they have in their own heads. Getting a reality check and just understanding that these are the bare minimum things a woman or any person, even a man, requires to have a balanced life, and just make them understand that that's a part.
Like she said, you know, even I tell this to my patients that you need to set your boundaries. You need to say no. Women have this thing, you know, they are a little guilty of saying no to things. You have to say no. You need to have your own time. Charge yourself and then go out. It's okay. It's completely acceptable now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So that's what many new moms have been told. So like mothers, please stop being guilty for anything. Your kids are going to be okay. Though they late khana khayenge, they're going to forget it when they grow up.
Right.
But you will have to take care of your own self.
Right.
Also, this whole tag of being a working mother, I think you can be completely fine. You know, you can stay at home and you can look after your kids, and that doesn't make you any less of an individual.
Yeah,
I think we need to
talking
normalize
to the
that.
kids is very important when you're working. I mean, share it with your kids. If I have an event, I always tell my kids, and they know that her focus is going to be that, and they are pretty, you know, okay with it. They know that post the event she's back. And you know, yeah, they are. Yeah, they absolutely see that the core foundation is family. But obviously, when she's working, she is working. And I feel that's very important. I have 2 boys, so it's very important to inculcate the habit of seeing a woman work and give her 100% also. Because there are a lot of other things that they can question tomorrow. So this automatically, you know, teaches them that all of this is as normal as father working.
Yeah, right. So ma'am, in your case, it's quite challenging because you have to be 24/7 available for both the things, right? For your kids also, family also, and because sir is also into civil services. So how do you maintain this?
See, I don't think I've it's never easy, and it's always a task. I always think now it's going to be better. I'm going to make more time for family. It never happens. Yeah, but somehow my kids have been able to, you know, adapt, and they really adapted very well. They know what is there, what is not there. But I think because at my home we do share responsibility, so my husband has also taken up the responsibility of kids, you know, equally as much as I have. In fact, for now more than me. So that is something that keeps me going. Equal sharing of responsibility. Without that, it's not possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a village, that's for sure. Yeah.
I had just told my mother and my mother-in-law that if you want me to continue my job, you have to be here. One of you has to be here. Otherwise, just I'll quit.
Absolutely.
I'm not
A lot of moms have a guilt of asking for help also.
Yes.
So I think hire help, please. That is, we are privileged enough for your own sanity. Absolutely.
So now that, you know, Nilamri, you just said that support is very important. Do you think women to women support is also very important? We should have that circle and network.
Like what Gauri ma'am said, that, you know, now Nasik is having that shift.
Yes.
Of, you know, even if mother was supporting, now your mother-in-law is also supporting, and that is something, you know, only then I can go out and work for even emergency hours. If there's no backhand support, I will not be able to perform.
Right.
So yes, women to women support is very
In fact, Nasik has lot of self-help groups.
Right.
So women are promoting each other, encouraging each other, which is very rare maybe 10-20 years back, where women were ready to pull the other women down.
Yeah.
But now I think it's
I
progressing.
think the jealousy factor is also gone somewhere out of the discussions because everybody here is supporting each other.
Yeah, I think women were never jealous of each other. It was always the men who were jealous, and they still are. And they were the biggest gossip mongers. I have heard least amount of gossip among women circles compared to what I've heard in men circles.
So there are a lot of groups also that have come in Nasik, you know. There are different groups. Like,
Yes.
you know, if you say women coming together and doing events, women coming together and participating in activities. Like there was just a marathon, walkathon, women
Right.
walkathon that happened.
There was a
So lot
bike
of activities
rally,
that
yeah.
are happening, and literally women want to come out of the house and participate. So we have seen this change also, that women have.
In fact,
are
Nasik
stepping-
women are very
You're right.
enthusiastic about it.
Yes.
I have seen a lot of women who we have these musical sari evening, and they're so enthused about it. They'll dress up, they'll have fun. So similarly, there was a bike rally. So I
Yes.
think in all sectors they're quite enthusiastic. Be it the farming sector also. So there is Mrs.
I
Pingrace.
have
Okay,
actually
so
seen her, some women told
she has her own 13-acre land. After her husband passed away, she's taken over her vineyard. So I think women all over the field are nowadays progressing that way.
So, half of the women on this table I know personally.
Yes.
I feel women are sorted now.
Yes, very much.
I think busy, so sorted.
Yes.
Also, what she said, I think Nasik, my father-in-law always gives this example that Nasik soil is so fertile that now we can have like anything. Avocados grow in Nasik, like strawberries grow in Nasik. Like, yeah. So the land is fertile for agriculture. The mindset of people is fertile for new ideas. We have cycle rallies, we have bike rallies, we have like
We have events like these.
everything. Yeah. So people are very adaptive to new ventures, and they want progress.
But just one thing I want to add, like we are sitting here from a position of privilege. There are women who do suffer, and that is where we need to send this message across to everyone. We need to help them, guide them, motivate them, to work for themselves, work on themselves. That is, because I still think that in India, women do face a lot of still a lot of pressures.
But I must say, women like Manisha ma'am, like, I keep telling her that you are like a role model for women to have this possibility that you can be a mother and you can, like lead the city and you can bring about so many changes.
So as she just said, that we are privileged to be here, and we are here to influence the community in different ways. So do you feel that it's our responsibility to give back to the city? In what ways?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
So, like, if I can just add on this, like, I am into infertility. So, everybody knows what infertility is, but there are many people who don't know what egg freezing is. So, through these mediums or through, talk shows or through whatever small things that I can do, I like to talk a lot on egg freezing. Because women, they want to do their career, or maybe they're still wanting to have partners, the right partners. So in that, you can always freeze your eggs and then choose to conceive whenever you want to. So it gives you a lot of empowerment, is what I feel. So this is something that I want to give back to the society. See, what happens in Bombay comes to Nasik 10 years later. Okay, so this is happening in Bombay since a long time. Now people are, they know things, but they still don't want to talk about it. It's considered a lot of taboo, is what I feel. But yes, now women of Nasik have started doing that, and I have, clients who've been doing that. So yes.
So I think there's awareness and education, but they are not ready to accept it as of now, and maybe after.
Yeah, so even I hold these healing circles which are there for not just the women but also men, and it is really very interesting to see men open up about their struggles, even women open up about their struggles. They are very aware and very, they are in tune with all these things, wherein they want to talk about their struggles, and they are accepting about, okay, everything doesn't need to be perfect and still we can go further. And I think this is my way of giving back to the community, my healing circles, and people really enjoy these circles. It's not just about talking about their struggles but also about their achievements, and what are the particular, in their particular fields, what are they doing. They
I
come
think just
to,
having a safe space to,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
vent out.
Exactly.
Like what you are doing is incredible with your
thank
healing
you.
circles.
Thank
I mean,
you.
just having a
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, appreciation or venting out, all these
Yeah.
things, they make a lot of difference.
So, for the young girls who are watching this conversation, what is one message that you all would want to give?
hang on to your girlfriends. Like
Yeah, the most
they are the
important.
ones who are your real soulmates and not your partner. Your girlfriends are your soulmates. So hang on to them just because life happens and kids happen and career happen. Don't let them go, because I really have a strong circle of girls, and like I can rely on them at any point of time. And I think that is really essential, because as women, we get lost into our roles as mothers and, caregivers. And I think you can derive a lot of strength and a lot of support from your girls who are sailing in the same boat and through your community. So I think.
So just adding to what Gauri said, I think first thing that should be imbibed in girls since their childhood is self-care. So, love yourself first. So prioritize yourself and then the world can continue. So that is one thing I think all the girls, young girls especially, please prioritize yourself and of course be ambitious. So the more ambitious you are, automatically your things fall into place. And please find the right partner. So because that's very important, because that's going to be a pillar standing right next to you, strongly with you.
No, not everybody needs a partner.
Yeah, so
because,
but I mean, of course, that's very
yeah,
subjective.
yeah.
But if you find a partner who's ambitious, equally ambitious, and who is there standing like a pillar right next to you, not like behind you or before, right, standing next to you and pushing you ahead.
You know, like what Gauri said, life is going to happen, marriage is going to happen, kids are going to happen. You be focused in what you want to do.
Yeah.
Only that is going to take you to a position, or maybe you have, I don't know, but I like it to be ambitious. I like to be a little focused in life. So for these young generation, what I feel is they're getting a little distracted. They're losing onto their focus. So please be focused.
And just adding on to that, don't fall for trends. Remain a classic, the classic things. So I think you will find all the balances that you need if you follow the basic rules.
I feel dare to dream. That's a very big thing that I would want to, tell them, that dare to dream. Like Richa said, be ambitious. Only then, you can go and achieve something. So yes, I feel, be a go-getter for sure.
But do you guys think being ambitious is kind of robbing us of our femininity? And
I do.
like
I second
sometimes
that.
I think, what are we competing against? And why do we have this competition?
But
Why can't we
practically, you're right when we just discussed this, but practically on the floor, there is competition everywhere. And men, you have to compete.
And when
I
you
mean,
started, maybe when
she's
you were
in a better
studying,
position.
yeah. So when you were studying, you wanted to get somewhere, you were ambitious. Now that you have it, we can be non-ambitious. After we have reached a point, after we think we are happy and this is what matters to us most. But there are women who will have to be ambitious, who will have to, it's not easy to rise up the ladder in a lot of fields. I'm a law graduate. I wanted always to practice, but the kind of environment I saw there for a fresher woman who has no family background in that particular field, it was extremely difficult, almost and impossible. That's not easy. So there are things, and you have to make choices. You have to give up your ambitions, but then that should not be the ideal thing.
See, what I feel is competition not with people, but have competition with yourself. Just look at where you have come, where you were 5 years ago, and now where you are. If that is clear in your head, then I think things are sorted.
And know yourself. I think what you want in life. So for example, she may want some other things from life. I may want something else from life. So once you know yourself, once you know that what are the things that really bring you joy, I don't think then that will be so difficult to navigate.
Right. So now when the world, they are eyeing on Nasik for the Kumbh Mela, and what is the one thing that you all want them to experience and remember about Nasik when they go from here after?
The clean and beautiful city that Nashik is, I think there's no second one.
Also, the warmth and the hospitality of Nasikites, because we love having people around. We all get our friends around. We keep telling them that you should visit Nasik. We've got some wonderful things. So I think this, as Nasikites, we can bring this to the table and show them that how hospitable and how warm we are really.
Cultural experiences that we have over here. So we have, like, mythologically Nasik is a very strongly rooted place. So we have a lot of cultural experiences that Nasik has come up with. So one thing that people can come and experience is what Nasik is actually about, is the spirituality.
So now we just kind of.
Can I just add up to that? I think just Kumbh is now restricted to a holy dip, and like that's what people think Kumbh is all about. So what I want to bring to light is think of this holy dip as a dip into the Nasik's ecology. Of course, there's mythology, but ecology plays a very massive role in it, and I think people need to draw focus to that. because the kind of biodiversity and sustainability that we are blessed with. So we really need to acknowledge that, because even through Kumbh, I think they just have these metaphors in these scriptures, but what they are actually referring to is the land, is the ground, is where we are rooted. And I think we need to really tap into that. So what people think of Kumbh is we'll do that holy dip and we'll be cleansed and like now we'll but there is so much more when like ma'am can elaborate more on the parikrama and how that really happens. But there are so many factors, even astronomy plays a role into it, even topography plays a role into it. So I think let's spread more awareness into that rather than just thinking of Kumbh as a holy dip.
And if people are coming to Nasik, definitely food is one of the biggest attraction in Nasik. The misal pav, the all the kala rasta and everything. So that is one attraction that people should definitely try.
Right. So now moving to the next segment, that is the rapid fire. So the one word you describe Nasik as.
Evolving.
My happy place.
Blissful.
Home.
Home.
No words.
It's an emotion. Retire's paradise.
Nasik is an emotion.
It's an emotion.
Your favorite food spot in Nasik.
Amma's.
Yeah, I think Tushar.
It's in Grape County.
Yeah, must.
So one tradition you love about Nasik.
I think the Goda Aarti. I really love that. It's amazing, yeah.
I think now that Ranga Panchami is, so the Rahad culture that came in during the Peshwa's era, I think that is something that's spectacular. It's only in Nasik.
Same, I would agree.
I think everywhere in
Nowhere else
in India
does it
after Holi they celebrate. So Ranga Panchami, so 5th day of the moon. Yeah, so
I
that's when
recently saw the Veer Yatra at Godavari and how it is linked to Rang Panchami and why Rang Panchami is celebrated. I think it's really amazing, the kind of tradition and the value that it brings with itself. It's something to everyone should
So
know.
there's something that's culturally bound for Nasik.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was talking to somebody the other day and I was dubki marne the wo Rang Panchami. Something. Okay, so one thing Nasik should improve.
Traffic, I feel now. Traffic is something we need to work on now. Otherwise, we'll go bad. Yeah.
Do you think civic sense?
I think so. I was just
And
I think
cleanliness.
we also
I
need
think,
open
yeah.
spaces for
There is a lot of scope
parks.
for improvement in everything.
yeah.
But I think
Everything.
yes.
The service sector also, we can be more. Of course, for Nasik is very welcoming, very warm. But I think we are equally competing with a lot of big metros. So maybe we can compete in the service sector also equally.
also awareness of what we really stand for. I think I try to dig in a lot of books and articles about Kumbh and Trimbakeshwar, but there aren't enough data on what it really is. Now people say that Nasik Trimbakeshwar is the most unique, but why is it unique? And like those 3 poles that we have, and why is it, what differentiates us from the other Jyotirlings? So things like this, I think we need to be more aware of our heritage, where we come from, what it stands for, and what it really signifies. So I think more awareness of where we come from.
My father's actually worked on these Kumbh Melas, and he's had these coffee table books on Kumbh Mela as well as Nasik city. So I've been just at that point of time I was in school and colleges when I used to he used to just give me a project that go do some research on that, and it was really interesting to see even whether it comes to freedom fighters Veer Savarkar, and there are so many. It's so rich, culturally it is so rich that Kusumagraj,
yeah,
the more you dig in deeper, the more you fall in love with the place. So yeah, there's just I think it's just a blend of such beautiful spices, I would say.
Okay, so ladies, thank you so much. It was a wonderful round table with you all, and I hope you all enjoyed having discussion on the hit topic of Nasik Kumbh and growth of Nasik.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So we have gifts that our sponsors has given. So this is a gifting